Don't call me a pop star.
Pop, rock or punk, Youngblood doesn't like to be put in a box. He's only 23 but already a force to reckon with in the music business, with a strong fan base and videos getting millions of views on social media. Youngblood's flamboyant style sets him apart. No surprise he's received accolades from Sir Elton John or Foo Fighters' Dave Grohl. We met him in Paris for the release of his new album, Weird.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Chloe Casardi. This is Encore with our guest today, Youngblood. Welcome to the
Yo, man,
show.
how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Very well, thank you, man. It's good to be here.
We're doing this interview in a very fancy hotel, not far from the Champs-Élysées. Is this how you imagine life as a rock star when you were growing up in Doncaster?
Not really, man. It's quite fun. Look at the leopard print carpet. Do you know what I mean? I like it. I love Paris so much, man. I think you lot are just so cool. I love it. It's so sick to be here, and it's a beautiful building. So.
Well, it's great having you here. You're one of the big faces of rock music now. Every song of yours gets millions of views on YouTube. We're talking hundreds of millions of views also on streaming platforms. How do you cope with all this fame so early on in your career? Because you're rather young, you're 23.
But it was weird, man. It was kind of bigger than I ever expected, but all I wanted to do was belong somewhere. I grew up in quite a small town in the north of England, and I felt like I needed a sense of belonging. I felt like a bit of an alien when I grew up, because I mean, I look the way I look, and where I'm from, you're basically got to be a car mechanic or you're done for. I looked at artists who built worlds for me, like Gaga, Bowie, and I just said, if they can do it, then why can't I? And I just wanted to build a family and a culture that resonates the idea that it's all right to be who you are, no matter who you are. And it just went absolutely mad. And I still kind of don't realise the kind of impact it's had on people. And I know the impact they've had on me, and it's completely like redefined every single emotion I think I've ever felt.
It's all a bit weird, and Weird is the name of your new album. Let's take a look at your latest single. It's called Cotton Candy.
I gotta say, man, I wanna get stuck between your teeth like cotton candy. So you remember me, darling. I'm losing myself in you, and you, and you, and you, and you. I know I'm losing myself in you, and you, and you, and you, and you. I know.
So we saw in this video how much you like to play with genres, with sexuality, with cross-dressing. Is that something you were always comfortable about growing up in Doncaster?
I think right now there's such a big sexual revolution going on, especially like with my generation because of the internet. Terminology can be learned in an instant. If I would have grown up 30 years ago in my town, I wouldn't have seen things that I would have been inspired by, or I wouldn't have necessarily even known things, because anything that is a subculture or small that has a big impact in the world can be seen by millions of people now.
And you were talking about your fans. You have a special bond with your fan base. You really try to reach out to them. They are called the so-called Black Hearts Club.
Yeah.
And you've got really a message of like, be proud, be happy with who you are. Is that something you try to convey when you address them?
Youngblood ain't me. Youngblood is us. You know what I'm saying? Youngblood is a place to come. If your friends don't understand you, if your family doesn't understand you, if you feel like you are on another planet and you feel like, is there oxygen up there? Yeah, there is, because we're here and we're breathing. It just feels so connected because we're existing together, and I think we belong somewhere. And I think when you find out you belong somewhere for the first time, it's like you figure out you got lungs.
And it's interesting because you said in an interview that in 10 years you want people to look back at your career, not just like he was just yet another rock star, but someone who really influenced, created a movement, did something quite original, completely original, and a liberation within people. Can you tell me more about that?
Complete. I think the thing about it is, man, it's like, especially in today's like music industry, I don't want to be a trend. Trends die. Trends are made to die.
Is that a fear you might have?
Not necessarily a fear. I just want to do the opposite. If that is a breed of death, and then you find something else, I want this to be life.
One man who managed to achieve just that is a music legend, of course, David Bowie. I know he's influenced your work greatly. Recently, you performed on stage during a special concert in memory of this music legend who died 5 years ago. Let's take a look at the song you performed, a cover of Life on Mars. So that was clearly a powerful cover you did. Different style, you weren't dressed exactly the same way.
Yeah, no, that was utterly about David, that performance.
You said something really powerful. I felt like I met him last night. I felt like I was on a different planet.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I think it's so rare what his music kind of did to me. I felt like, when I was younger, I felt like he knew what I was thinking and he'd never even met me. But to be on stage with the people he played with over his career of like multiple decades, the people who kind of have a bit of the soul of what David Bowie is, because they played these songs to people. And to me, to be able to sing the mic, like it was the biggest shoes to fill ever, and I would never even dream of trying to come anywhere close. But I gave.
Was it overwhelming?
Oh, it was beautiful. It was overwhelmingly beautiful. But I thought it would be. 10 minutes before, I was so nervous. But when the music kicked in and the spotlight got turned on, and I walked up to the microphone, it was just alienistic. I knew what it was like to be on Mars, man.
You're from Doncaster, you're from the UK.
Yes.
How can we explain that so many musicians, successful bands, Bowie, and it doesn't even just concern rock music, but also electronic music, hip hop, how can so many big bands come out of the UK? Is it something in the water? Is it the weather?
What is it? It's utterly miserable. I think it's it's the weather, and I've been recording up north, like, because I've been isolating in a house. I was like, I may as well be in a house up north with my producer. While this is going on. It's so funny, my producer's Israeli, and he looks out the window, he's like, I feel like someone's gonna come at me with like a sword and a horse. He was like, no wonder there's that much good music here, because you all just want to get out. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, it must be something to do with that.
Will I run away? Will I run away? I'm the original loser. Some days I wish
COVID-19, lockdowns around the world.
Yeah.
It's really affecting young people. A lot of people are saying that this is a sacrificed generation because of lack of work, because people can't really go to school. It's changing a lot. How do you try to help your fan base? A lot of young people are among your fans. How do you consider that?
Absolutely. I mean, as I say, every day, I just try and spread positivity. That's why I'm here in Paris. Obviously, the virus has killed a lot of people, and it needs to be taken so seriously. We need to do that. But I am here, and I do this every day because a massive killer as well is mental health and suicide and depression, and that needs to be taken into account too, because a lot of people do not know where to turn right now. So every day I'm just trying to be online and try and spread a message of love and unity, because even though we are lonely right now, we are alone together, and that makes us less lonely.
You've been very vocal also about politics, notably about Brexit. Just before the New Year's Eve deadline, you said people needed to remain united. Have your fears materialised? How do you see the future of the UK with Brexit?
As I say, I'm completely, like, I'm in France right now and I'm completely embarrassed. Like, all right, I'm English, yeah, sorry. Do you know what I mean? I think it's so sad that this is kind of materialised and a lot of people kind of are upset, and I speak to a lot of people who voted to leave who are like regretting it now, because I think the fundamental values of now is, especially, like, I talk about my generation so much because it's what I know. That's who the people I talk to the most. And I think even in the last 2 years, something has changed in youth culture internationally, that people do not want to be divided anymore. Like, a political strategy of division, I think with young people, it's a naive way of doing it, because we see through it because of things like Twitter and because of things like Instagram. We can talk to each other. I think with me, if something's bringing something together, people together, then I'm into it. If it's dividing people, I want nothing to do with it. And when it came to Brexit, man, that was like a campaign that was massively built on fabrications to pry on people and scaremongering, and then it went through. It just makes me sad, man.
And I read many times that you said that you think politicians should listen a lot more to young people, that young people actually have things to offer, to say. Is that how you feel?
100%. I think it's so easy for, like, people to look at that and be like, oh, okay, a young person's been like, oh, like, change the record. We've been saying it for 20 years. My generation, man, we are so smart because we have the internet. The world has become such a smaller place because of the way we can connect to each other. We care about what's going on in Poland right now with like anti-LGBTQ plus rights. We care about what's going on in America with the election. We care about what's going on with Brexit. I think we have so much to offer and so much to say, and I would love that. You know what I'm saying? I think they should listen to us more.
Well, a very positive message indeed. Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Youngblood.
man. I loved it.
Thank you. Your new album, Weird, is out now, and you'll be touring hopefully around the world very soon.
Touch wood, man.
In October.
Everyone sanitize, wear your masks. Let's get back to the venues ASAP.
In Paris in October, and in many other places in the world, like you've been touring in previous years. Thank you very much, Youngblood.
Thank you, man.